I would like to welcome our distinguished City Council members, along with residents of the City of Watervliet, and all the others who may be watching this evening. It is my privilege of a lifetime to serve as your mayor. When you elected me as mayor in 2020, nothing could prepare me for the challenges that laid ahead. Leading the city through the global pandemic that hit the first 3 months of my term and the fiscal uncertainty that was hanging over the city were both demanding and, to be honest, very scary. Regardless, we continue to provide services to our residents during these challenging times, and we have moved the city into a stable financial climate. To look back on what we accomplished in 2022 also provides us with a roadmap of what we will strive to accomplish in 2023 and beyond. I want to make something perfectly clear. Leading our great city is not a one-man show. I may be delivering this presentation, but I could not accomplish anything without our dedicated staff. The Council and I discuss all issues, laws, and regulations that are needed to put in place to help our city grow and improve. Our General Manager, Joe LaCivita, our department heads, and their teams work closely together to implement and ensure success. I'm extremely proud of the progress we have made for the residents of the city for the first 3 years. Let's start with water and sewer. Under the supervision of the General Manager and Water Supervisor Dave Dressel, this department continued to function in a professional and efficient manner. This year we did have several water breaks, and they were all handled in-house. But this put a tremendous strain on our manpower and our workload. We recently hired 2 new staff members, one to replace an open position and the other to expand the department's staffing level. Work has now begun on the water filtration plant, for which we received a $3 million grant to help with long overdue repairs and upgrades. We installed new security fencing around the plant, a new backup generator to replace the older unit, and a boiler to replace the failing one. We are now working on the construction of a garage to house our equipment. We did purchase a specially designed boat to help reduce the water chestnuts at the reservoir. This $75,000 boat was purchased last year. We can't really utilize it without purchasing another boat to help transport the weeds off the water, which we are now close to purchasing. With the hiring of the 2 new staff members, this should be a project for them this summer. With over 40% of our water covered by these weeds, the reservoir was ignored for the last 25 years, making the problem worse year by year. This is a long-term solution and to start in the right direction. Also, late last year, we began working on a new computer system that monitors the filtration plant for all its instruments, flows, and processed water. This system was bid, it was contracted for, and ordered, but due to supply chain issues are affecting its delivery. We are now looking to have this installed hopefully by summer. We just signed a contract for a $1.3 million from a $1.3 million grant of clean water sewer separation. This is part of the city's combined sewer overflow to improve the water quality in the Hudson River. The goal for Watervliet is to separate our city's overflow so that we won't have to be under the DEC guidelines in the future. Work on these sites will begin this spring. This will be phase 1 of a 2-phase project. The city will send out to its residents a flyer prior to the construction, alerting all the residents of the impact of the construction may have on them. Also, we're proud to announce the completion of a 5-year process to relicense our city hydroelectric plant in Gilliland through the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to run at full power. The negotiation process was intense, and our team helped fast and felt we accomplished a beneficial plan for all involved. The filter plant improvements may allow us to seek out other municipalities who may be looking for water source and to sell water to them to increase revenue for ourselves and help out any neighboring city. One of the other issues that our administration inherited was with the town of Gilliland. The town completed a reassessment of Watervliet Reservoir and increased our assessment 5-fold. We were then forced to litigate the case, resulting in a much lower and fairer assessment. We felt our team was successful in protecting the residents in this matter. Moving to sanitation, DPW. DPW includes sanitation crews and works hand in hand with the water department. We continue to monitor their needs so that they can perform the tasks required. We recently purchased 2 new vehicles for the highway with plows, new attachments for our V-Track machine to help with the snow and leaf removal. We purchased new salters and sanders. We have a vehicle tracking system now to provide residents with a better idea where and when they expect to plow, if it ever does snow. Establish a schedule for our sweepers so residents can choose to move their vehicles easier on their scheduled day. Working hand in hand with the Capital District Transportation Committee, we helped to ease a large vehicle congestion on 25th Street and repave and rebuild the entire street from the city lines. This grant is expected to cost about $5 million. We'll be releasing more information on this project soon, but the General Manager and I are members of the Capital District Transportation Committee and work to get the funding in Watervliet. Working with the town of Colony, we work together to pave 8th Avenue, from 1st Street to 8th Street. This partnership helps save each municipality money, funding, and will allow us to use additional money to pave other streets. I'm very pleased to announce that we will again jointly pave 1st Street with Colony. This year, we were able to pave 1.2 miles of roads in the city. And the 2023 paving schedule will be the largest in our history. The city has partnered with Albany County to include the cost of roadway material in a collaborative bid, which once again will save the community additional funding to be allocated elsewhere throughout our budget. Found out just recently that the sanitation department now needs a new garbage truck. We continue to work on our collection program and concentrate on compliance. All of our complaints from residents, or most of our complaints from residents, is regarding strewn garbage not properly placed is the largest issue that we have. We are hoping that an increase in education and, when necessary, enforcement will help reduce that problem. We'll work with both landlords and tenants to keep the city presentable. With the recent hiring of 2 new code employees, we will pick up from where we left off when we had to suspend it during COVID. This year, we had DPW paint the crosswalks around the city, something else that hasn't happened in years. We also plan on starting an alley cleanup program. This will be a long-term project, but we intend to establish this project to help improve both the appearance and the functionality of our alleys. Public safety. Last year, we received a grant from Assemblyman John McDonald to purchase additional citywide cameras. Several cameras were installed in key intersections to help reduce and document traffic and be able to identify areas where issues may occur. Additional cameras were also installed in our parks to further enhance their safety. Several cameras were also installed in the pool area, again to document any of the incidents that may occur there. We have now increased our city police force to 26 members. This increase hasn't been achieved in over 15 years, if not more. Having additional staff will help reduce our overtime and allow more to be devoted to the working on issues that may have been sidelined. We recently purchased new weapons and lighting systems to keep the police officers and the city residents safer without purchase. Also, we purchased new body-worn cameras that keep our police officers safe and demonstrate our department's transparency when possible. In partnership with the school administration, we brought back the school resource officer. This has strengthened our partnership with the schools over the last several years, where it hasn't happened before. For the 6th year in a row, we will again have our child seat safety check held again in the parking lot of the elementary school. In keeping with our streets, making our streets safer, we had our first gun buyback program last year, and we're actually going to have another gun buyback program this coming April. Last year, we took 100 guns off the streets. This is all in cooperation with our Attorney General's office. The city will continue to work with other agencies to look for new, innovative programs to help residents dealing with domestic violence and mental health issues. In 2022, we had 23,000 calls for service, an increase of 23% over 2021, and had over 741 arrests. With the increased number of traffic stops at 6,000, we seized 19 firearms, and 14 of them resulting in arrest. This is an outstanding accomplishment and a credit to our commitment our officers have for keeping our city safe. In addition, the department increased their DWI enforcement. Specifically, they made 47 DWI arrests and 10 DWAI arrests last year. The police chief did prepare a 2023 report on his own, on his department, and it'll be attached at the back of this report. Our fire department continues to handle the daily call volumes that increase year to year. The total call volume for fire and EMS during 2022 were 2,849 calls, of which 1,683 of them were logged as EMS. There were 15 active fires last year, and 2 active fires already during the month of January. This coming March, we'll be bringing on 2 new members to our force, in addition to that we had a lateral transfer this past year, keeping our force at the staffing level needed, something our neighboring cities have been struggling to maintain. Members make up the most important part of our department, but they need the equipment to help perform their tasks. This year, we purchased a new ambulance for the fire department, which we should receive sometime this year at a cost of $350,000. Also, due to the overall need for the ambulance service, we also purchased a used ambulance from Malta that is being used as a backup at a cost of $15,000. We purchased a 2012 pumper with only 13,000 miles to add to our fleet. I'd like to thank the Chief Garrett for thinking outside the box and making sure that we are equipped properly to serve the community. This council has demonstrated that we are in full support of our needs of our departments to provide the best possible services to our residents. Finally, I want to make that the City Administration, Chief Garrett, and the Medical Officer of Remo recognize members of the Watervliet Fire Department for their outstanding contribution to emergency needs for reversals of 2 cardiac arrest patients. Congratulations, that's a job well done and well deserved. I want to get into code now. As with every other city agency, once COVID hit, most of our inspections of units were suspended. Regardless, we continue to perform the tasks at hand. Like with every other business or municipality, COVID hindered the recruitment of qualified individuals. As of today, I am pleased to announce that we have 4 full-time certified code enforcement officials on staff, the highest we've ever had. Our general manager and our code enforcement officers continue to strengthen our policies and procedures. They continue to work with the police department as they enter a property that when they see violations where code would not normally see them from the outside. They've taken control of several homes thus far, shut down those homes with severe code violations or offenses. 651 code violations or complaints were logged in within 2022, and 2,572 inspections were completed, with 223 building permits being issued throughout the year. Our general manager and building department manager have formed a roundtable group with the cities of Cohoes, Troy, Albany, the town of Colony, and the village of Green Island. They are looking towards shared services with each community that can rely on each other when they needs arise for staffing or for other assistance, and look to share ideas that will improve the overall operations of everyone's code department. Parks and Rec. We continue to improve our parks, both in equipment, upgrades, and appearances. And this year was one of the biggest ever. This year, we purchased 2 new play sets, one at Clinton Park and the other one at 15th Street Park. Both were donated by the Watervliet Charitable Foundations. We didn't stop there. We now ordered another one for 7th Street Park, which will be delivered this spring at a total cost for all 3 at $120,000 in new playground sets, all donated by the Watervliet Charitable Foundation. We continue to look at relocating the basketball court at Brotherhood to be under the bridge of 787. The reason for this is to separate the older kids playing basketball from the younger kids that use the ball field, the splash pool, and the play units at the park. Parks are designed to draw children of certain ages to equipment that supports their age groups. Mixing the older children with the younger ones is not the best design. This is no different than the way schools separate the younger grades in the elementary schools from the older high school buildings. It will be a challenge for us to top the over $500,000 splash pad that was donated by Scott Earl for our swimming pool. We had over 2,000 children and adults come to the pool this summer. And I'm so happy and proud that we both did it with the efficiency and professionalism that needed to be done. My goal was to have the same appearance as some of the higher-end water parks, but priced so our residents can enjoy it. Again, to make it a pleasant experience rather than something that we would be used to, we still have so much to do and so many other facilities to improve of, and many of them are we so proud of. We obtained a $15,000 grant from National Grid to replace the few remaining rotted bollards that you saw down at Reds Field, and the purchase of wood for 15 picnic tables that Eagle Scouts volunteered and built. These tables are used at Hudson Shores, the pool, and around the city. These are all pieces of a large puzzle that make our city look the best it possibly can be. Something for everyone is important in a sense of community. We installed 4 pickleball courts at the Dome and several around the city on existing basketball courts. This allows our older population to enjoy the sport right here in their own hometown, or visitors to come and enjoy, as well as to see what a great community we have. Proud to say again that the nets for the pickleball courts at the Dome were purchased by the Watervliet Charitable Foundation. As part of the economic development, let's say, program, we will again hold 2 car shows in 2023. One will be held again at Hudson Shores Park in the spring, and the other will be held late in July, located in the south end of the city, like the one event we had last year in August. These car shows brought in hundreds of visitors to show off what Watervliet truly has to offer. Plans are underway at the Hudson Shore Park to repave the road, parking areas, and walkway to install some healthy recreational units for the children to play and enjoy. We have bids going out on this soon, and hopefully construction will be beginning in the spring. In addition to that, plans are being drawn up for a restaurant to be constructed in the park to replace the bars. Our intention is to make the park operational most of the year around and a place where residents and visitors can enjoy. Again, we're not stopping there. We signed a contract with a tour boat company that will run tours up and down the Hudson beginning this spring. We are planning on installing additional docks for the recreation and business use. Currently, RPI uses the southern docks for their crew teams, and we now have an agreement with Emma Willard to have their crew teams operate out of the park as well. Last February, we had a fire and ice event at the park, and to nobody's surprise, it was probably the coldest day of that year. But many enjoyed the opportunity to sit around on fire and enjoy the night. We will again have our fire and ice event at the end of February, and we're hoping that the weather will just be a little warmer. We received a $20,000 donation to repave and paint the basketball courts at Clinton Park, all paid again by a donation. Partnered with Albany County for an improved park and recreational program that will increase programming and activities for the city youth, just as karate, lacrosse, basketball, and now pickleball. The Minnealy Bell that serenaded St. Patrick's neighborhood for decades was refurbished and placed at the entrance of the Congress Street Bridge. This all was made possible by a donation of $110,000. A smaller Minnealy Bell was purchased and donated by the city residents and placed at the gazebo park located at 3rd Avenue between 5th and 6th Streets. The bell was dedicated in honor of Richard and Pat Crinigan. Finally, just recently, we installed 3 professionally sized basketball scoreboards at the Dome. Again, another donation made by the Charitable Foundation at a value of $20,000. One can measure our achievements in many ways, but a true sign of success is when you can run a business without a deficit. First as councilman and now as mayor, we have had significant increases in all 3 of our operating fund balances, including bringing our sewer fund from a negative back into the black. Fund balance is one of the tools that New York State Controller uses to review the financial health of our city. We went from being named the second most fiscally stressed municipality in the state to not even being mentioned when the list come out. These things can only be accomplished with a good team and a buy-in from all departments on the need to adhere to strict budgets and with experienced individuals in the mix. Together as a team, across all departments, we have been working hard to tighten our belts, just like residents here in the city has to do. We understand what COVID had on everyone. Tenants unable to work, couldn't pay their rents, businesses with left traffic unfortunately closed. We are offering as much help as we possibly can, and we facilitated with a housing rehab grant for homeowners, offered grants to small businesses here in the city, and something that hits the pockets of every single homeowner, 2 straight years of no tax increase. This can be substantial savings not only to homeowners, tenants, but to business operations, and help them avoid raising prices or rents due to property rate tax increases. All this being said, the city does have some challenges ahead. Most economists believe that there will be a recession possibly in 2023. A large portion of our revenue budget relies on sales tax. We might have to tighten our belts even more. While keeping residents in mind with a 0% tax increase, we acknowledge the possibility of using possibly our fund balance. This is one reason why we've been working so hard to save. You never know when the prices will skyrocket, and we have to dip into those savings. Another challenge that we were facing was health insurance this year. The city was thrown a curveball late in 2023 with regards to the availability of retiree coverage options. While attempting to balance the need to maintain current coverage and keeping the cost in mind, we found a solution, but this will cost the city roughly an additional $125,000 annually. This will not stop our efforts to find ways to save taxpayers' money. Although below to our budget, we are still able to maintain a 0% tax increase. We are working diligently with the county to move forward with the Health Insurance Consortium, which will help provide options and savings to employees and the city. We recently, over the last year or so, we conducted a bridge study with the City of Troy as our partner. This study was to find ways to increase the business attractiveness to both sides of the river. Our focus will be from 23rd Street, Hudson Shores Park, 16th Street, up 19th Street, and 5th Avenue. The study focuses on increasing safe access also to the bike path. We're still working to look for funding for this possibility. Although not funded, we continue to improve and submit an annual application for our Downtown Revitalization Initiative, which is called the DRI. This funding will be a game changer and will continue to work toward ideas and suggestions from residents, businesses, and consultants to look to the future of our city. This will transform the 19th Street corridor and be an attractive gateway to our community. Looks are very important. 3 abandoned and derelict buildings from the city were removed. We continue to work with Albany County Land Bank to attract suitable businesses. I totally believe in the broken window theory. We need to keep our city looking good because it makes everyone feel good. We previously received a grant to install electric vehicle charging stations in the city, and will continue to look for ways to reduce our carbon footprint and help lowering energy consumption for everyone. My office helped to organize 2 restaurant weeks in Watervliet, and we are in the process of having another in a few weeks. These events promoted city restaurants to show off their facilities and their unique cuisine, not only to city residents, but residents from nearby communities. During COVID, we provided grants to businesses that were finding it difficult to keep their doors open. We use our email distribution list to inform businesses of any grant programs or information that they should know of to help them financially. A goal of this administration is to assist in the promotion of local businesses by the redesign of our website that we hope to promote and have up soon. We now have hundreds of visitors visiting us from the bike trail, the Dome with their sporting events, and other events at Hudson Shores Park, and we want them to stay local. Using modern-day technology like QR codes, signage, we hope to inform and educate our visitors what we have to offer and stay here. A couple of comments on our city buildings. Our city is no different than any other homeowner. Your property is very important and it must be taken care of. The key is preventive maintenance, something that we have not really been a fond believer of here. We received over $600,000 in grants from Assemblyman John McDonald and State Senator Neil Breslin that enabled us to update the City Hall with a new heating system, new windows, soffits, and fascia. These repairs were very long overdue. The glass in the windows was literally falling out of the frames, and the soffits were barely hanging on the building, and being held on only by the siding material itself. The Dutch Reformed Church, which is over here, a study was done this past year to determine if the old church could be converted into a new courtroom. This is something that has been discussed for many, many years. We hired a consultant, and it was determined that yes, it was possible, but it would cost more than $4 million to complete. Although a great idea, it didn't seem practical and feasible that this would be the best use of our city taxpayers. One goal of mine is to equip this senior center with an emergency generator. We have specifications drawn up and now looking for funding to install a generator to power the center in the event of a power outage or some catastrophic event, so that our residents need a cooling or warming station will be ready. If one thing COVID taught us is that we can never be prepared to address every emergency. Being an Eagle Scout, I know firsthand the motto is be prepared. Now we're looking toward the future. In conclusion, as you can see, we've been able to accomplish so much over the past 3 years of our term, and looking forward to the smartest, most efficient, economical ways to improve our services, reduce our energy costs, and make Watervliet the better place to live for everyone. We are in constant communication with our residents for important events and issues. We hope we'll continue to use social media wherever possible and videotaping the city meetings so our residents can view them from their home, to be fully transparent. In talking with residents throughout the city, the energy and overall view is extremely positive, and this motivates our enthusiasm to continue to see our city thrive and succeed. We have received numerous donations from civic groups, businesses, and from residents who have actually moved away but still take pride in their hometown. This alone speaks volumes about our success and the trust they have in us. I'm pleased to announce this evening that in 2023, we will reinstitute a sidewalk loan program for our city residents. This program was originally started many years ago, but was stopped due to financial issues the city was facing. Applications for this program will be available from my office at City Hall. In addition to the sidewalks, we can also assist homeowners to removal of trees where roots may be causing issues with their sidewalks. Speaking of trees, our tree committee has been an invaluable asset to the city development over the past few years. This committee has worked to plant over 300 new, non-invasive trees and worked to remove several that pose imminent threats to the community. We recently received word that our city was voted the 8th best place in the nation for first-time homebuyers to purchase a home, according to the study done by Realtor.com. I had to repeat that a few times myself. The 8th best place in the nation. This designation is a statement to where we are headed. Watervliet is a bedroom community with so much to offer our families. This is exciting news for all of us, and I'm proud of our team and of all their hard work to make this a reality. We currently entered an agreement with the State University of Albany to resurrect the anaerobic digester program to help reduce organic waste here in the city, which will turn out a better economic benefit for all of them. In 2021, we secured a consultant to assist the city with our streetlight replacement program. I am pleased to announce that we have entered in an agreement with National Grid to purchase 600 streetlights and retrofit them with LED bulbs. These bulbs will replace the older style and the more expensive lamps. The change in lighting will improve the overall lighting throughout the city, which will help security, and much lower cost. Once completed, this will save the city an estimated $125,000 in energy costs and will also qualify us to receive possibly $300,000 in grant funding from the State Fiscal Restructuring Board. I would like to close my State of the City address by thanking all of you for being engaged in this community. I have been blessed to have been born here, raised here, met my wife here, raised my family in this city, and I was humbled that you have the faith in me to do this job. I would also like to call on our younger residents to step up and begin their service to the City of Watervliet by joining a board or a committee or volunteering their time to one of the many organizations we have here. We need you to participate to help ensure the City of Watervliet continues to grow and prosper. I am proud of the work we have accomplished in this past year, and you can say without hesitation that Watervliet is continuing to move forward. As I stated when I was first elected to this office, I will always be accessible to all the residents. I will also be accountable for the decisions that are made. I want to thank my fellow councilmen, Barbara Diamond, Chris Doss, for all your hard work, and everybody else in the City Hall and all the other departments as well. I thank you for listening, and I hope you wish you a great evening. Thank you again.